Gapada sada pa gari sanga. This is my wife Malati. She is now 80 plus, and I am Ramurthy. I am 85 plus. I am now in January. I complete my 86th year. Almost up to my 25th year, I was below poverty level in my life economically. And I would even say up to 17th, 18th year, it was a life of misery. There was absolute poverty. That was because my father was a Gandhian and all that, and he knew nothing but sacrifices. His sacrifice involved the family also. Then I struggled hard. I discontinued my studies, worked for 3 years as a clerk, and then after 3 years, again Chennai, I moved to Delhi. I got several jobs. Then I used to pedal about 30 kilometers every day to join the night college. In those days, we had the advantage of joining universities. I did my master's. Then I was picked up by US Aid Mission, American Embassy. That was a turning point in my life because of my interest in the work I did. And that was an organization, American government was providing economic assistance to India. Because of the economic assistance given by American government, I had to travel all over the country reviewing the economic development of India. That was soon after, say within about 8 years after Indian independence. That was starting in 1955, 56, 57. I was traveling all over India. That was transport, agriculture, education, industry, mining, you name it. The American government's finance was involved. It went on very well, but at the same time I wanted to, everybody has a desire to go abroad. I was offered several opportunities to go to America, which I was not very keen. Then the African offer came, I grabbed it, and I went to Africa in 1967. I was working with the governments of Africa in Zambia and Botswana, and periodically I was with the United Nations also. One advantage working with these governments was we are required to serve for a minimum of 30 months. Then they give 2 months leave to come back home when they renew their contract. When I was working in Botswana, I was the former Director General of Post and Telecommunications, and because of my very senior position, I was also inducted in the National Planning Commission and international finance and all that. So the government sent me to different countries like African Development Bank and then United Nations in New York. Inducted in the National Planning Commission and international finance and all that. So the government sent me to different countries like African Development Bank and then United Nations in New York and then Geneva for attending conferences and inter-African meetings within Africa, and then to this place in, of course, on my own I went to Asian Development Bank in Manila. So in all these places we were able to go because most of them, excepting official travels, on 1 or 2 occasions I could not take my wife. But for all other meetings like Commonwealth meetings, United Nations meeting and all that, I could take my wife. I want to quote one excellent anecdote which I will never ever forget in my life. We happened to be in Romania in the year 70s, I don't remember. If I look at the passport, I will know. We wanted to stay as a family guest. We were given accommodation next to the tourist office. We stayed with an old lady, old man. They have 3 bedrooms. They gave us 1 room. They charged us hardly $3 or $4 a day, which was very cheap. And when they found that we were vegetarians, they thought we had come from heaven, because they have no idea of vegetarianism. So we were walking along the streets and everybody called me Raj Kapoor. And then she was in Indian sari. Every male would bring an apple, kiss her, They were never seen in sari and all that sort of thing. Again, from there we went to Yugoslavia. Same thing happened when I was walking. They used to call me Raj Kapoor, Raj Kapoor, Raj Kapoor. Needless to say, in sari they were absolutely, they fell for it. Then I went to England and then I went to Moscow. You land in Moscow, then from there the bus takes you to the terminal, When I got down, I got into the bus and my bag just hit somebody, and instantaneously we always say we are very sorry. Don't worry, my brother, he said, the person whom I hit. And you know who it was? Mr. Raj Kapoor himself. And I told Raj Kapoor, you are not Raj Kapoor, I am Raj Kapoor. I told him, I am Raj Kapoor, you are not Raj Kapoor. He hugged me and said, why do you say that? Wherever I go, they call me Raj Kapoor. And then I told him, you remember Avara, his film Avara was a very, very big hit in those socialist countries in those days. Even now, anybody will sing Avara Hu, And then I told him, you are one of the greatest ambassadors we had, and we chatted right up to the terminal, and then we went in different ways. That's why it is an unforgettable memory that I have. I met Raj Kapoor himself. I hit him and he said, don't worry, my brother. You don't expect anybody in Moscow airport to reply in English, but we always say, I'm sorry, an instantaneous expression. This luckily it came to my memory. I had a great meet with Raj Kapoor. The work in which I was involved in Africa was amazing. It was just not work in the government offices alone. I was involved at the ministerial level. I was in the parliament regularly, and I was in touch with even the president of Botswana. Incidentally, 3 successive presidents were my personal friends. And the previous president, Ian Khama, used to play hockey with me. And the first president's daughter would ask us, both of us, to come and play cards in the State House and all that. That I remember mainly because of the informality of the leadership. They were very informal, but of course they appreciated our role in the development of Africans as such. So it brought in a lot of close bondage with the African people there. And I was also exposed to the freedom struggle in South Africa. So all this gave me supreme satisfaction. If you want to call it achievement or whatever it is, that I could not only work successfully in my profession, but I could also involve in human development. You call it either politically or economically or socially. And this was much as one would have liked to go to the United States, but that was only a material life. You have a comfortable house, a huge house, cars, facility and all that, but not much of a human touch. But Africa gave me a lot of human touch. And we were very fortunate. We have traveled extensively in Africa, both for personal reasons and for official reasons also, right from the tip of Mediterranean to Cape Town, touching Indian Ocean. We have covered at least 40 countries in Africa alone, So I would think that period was glorious. But when you now talk of achievement, what I am now doing is the greatest achievement, because there is a limit to material love. Everybody wants to live a comfortable financial life, but that's only a small part. When you serve the humanity, when you help the poor people, that gives you supreme satisfaction, and today I call it as the happiest moment of my life. Well, let's put it this way. Both of us are very strict vegetarians, very, very strict vegetarians. We thought food may be a problem wherever we go, particularly in the Far East. They eat. China, for example, we went to southern China, not deep into China, Shenzhen province only. We went into a hotel, they brought crabs and fish and all that, just come out, you get excellent, even she used to say, bangan, and then cabbage, cauliflower, all things were available outside the hotel. And they were cooking only non-veg inside, But there is no reason for her to say any place had a negative impression. You know, the people in this world, criminals are only very, very few. Almost 99% of these people in this world are wonderful people. They love people. And this is the only planet where there is human being. And that itself is a great philosophy that everybody must understand. In travel, there are people, for example, in Madrid, when I and Auntie went to Transworld Airlines to get our ticket to Lisbon and to New York, within a flash, my entire briefcase was stolen. We had no money, we had no passport, excepting my ticket across the counter. I lost everything in Madrid, in Spain. Luckily, I had flown from Algeria, where my friend was the ambassador. So I went to the Indian embassy in Madrid and told to get in touch with my friend in Algiers. They spoke and they said, please do whatever he wants. Then we aborted our trip to Lisbon. We didn't go to America. We flew back to Italy and then came back to India. But such things happen everywhere. Even in India, we lose money. But this world has people who are wonderful. They believe in the humanity. They don't believe in religion and all this to bring a fight. They love Indians. Wherever we go, they love. But it all depends on how we conduct ourselves also. If you conduct yourselves with poise and dignity, you will have no problem traveling anywhere in the world. There could be culprits here and there, but that happens even in India. Why you blame any other foreign country? I can be mugged in Chennai, I can be mugged in Bangalore, I can be mugged in Delhi. But this happens within our country. But our foreign travel has been the most successful in our 25 years. We never had any problem. But one thing I emphasize to everybody is, as much as possible, travel. Even within India is a great experience. India has got so much to offer.
Yes.
Particularly you are young. Trekking is excellent, good for health. And also, in most of the places where we were in Europe, we chose mostly buses and trains and walking. You don't see people flying, that is only for those who would like to seek comfort in life. But if you want to understand life, you want to understand the geography, you want to understand what the world stands for, nothing like traveling in a backpack, with a backpack, just take buses and all that. In US, we have traveled from New York to San Francisco only by bus, Although it takes a long time, it takes about nearly 5,000 kilometers.
Yes.
Yeah, not continuous. You break here, you break here, you break here. It's also cheap. And then you look for a cheap motel and stay, or youth hostel, It all depends on your approach to life. You are worried about staying in a youth hostel, then you will never make it. You want to look for a 5-star hotel, it's a different thing. But if you really want to understand what travel is all about, travel is knowledge. Knowledge, you got to pay for something for knowledge. Go the hard way. But I won't call it hard way. It's a go in a less comfortable way. That's all, See, I am basically a very, very strong nationalist. I would say a strong leftist also. I support all human causes. Indian national movement or foreigners is oppression and all that. And Nelson Mandela was, as you all know, was the president of African National Congress, which was fighting the white apartheid regime in South Africa. When I went to Zambia, Zambia was leading in Lusaka, the capital, was the place for all freedom. You see, at that time, in 1967, freedom struggle was on in Tanzania. No, Tanzania had just become free. Mozambique, Angola, South Africa, Southwest Africa, which is now Namibia, part of Congo, and a lot of North African countries. Freedom struggle was on. All these freedom struggle, they used to have all their representatives in Lusaka because Lusaka provided support to all these people. As I started living there, I developed contacts with one after the other, and I became very close to all of them. And ANC being very close to South Africa, I became close. And then as I moved to Botswana, which is hardly 10 kilometers from South African border, Most of the refugees used to stay in my house, live in my house. I had a huge house provided by the government. The government quietly observed what I was doing because they know I should not get involved in politics. But the government did not stop me. They only told me, you be careful. We have never seen an Indian working for black Africans' cause. You are doing a noble job, but be careful. You are under threat, like all other refugees are, So once, with all these people, once they are all from ANC, once South Africa became free, when I was in South Africa, they introduced me to Nelson Mandela as a supporter of ANC. It was hardly 5 minutes. I was not a big man to sit and chat with him. At that time, Nelson Mandela had come from the prison. He was in demand by thousands of people. It just happened that I was in Johannesburg at that time when he had come. So they took me and introduced me. That was all.
Super, not like India.
Okay.
In India, you can overtake by left, right, up, every under.
Okay.
But their rules and regulations are taken well. If you can't overtake, you shouldn't overtake. No right turn, no left turn, under turn, and all. So I enjoyed my driving there. I like both.
Oh.
I like both. I like to climb mountains. I like the beach.
See, at one time she was working in a photographic company and she was very good in cameras.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was only for 2 years, 1.5 years, 2 years. 2 years.
They are funny names, named in Cabbage,
Okay.
person's name. So when you take photo, we have to call Cabbage, come here. Before this computer came, we had Allwitty. Allwitty. For that finance section, I was there. He has no teacher was there for him. He learned everything on his own, and he's a good singer. The ragas, if you ask him to play ragas, superb. I like that only.
Particularly when we talk about music, I have a great lover of Dharwad Gharana, which has produced outstanding musicians. You must have heard of Kumar Gandhar, Bhimsen Joshi, and then Gangubai Angal. They are all great stalwarts, and I have the greatest love and respect for them. Their voice culture is remarkable. But in the same Dharwad, I know quite a number of people. Even now, the greatest tabla player of Karnataka is Vishwanath Nakode. Have you heard of him? Have you heard of Vishwanath Nakode? He's a great friend of mine. He plays for senior musicians. He is in fact better than even Zakir Hussain. But because they are all humble people, he hails from a great family of musicians from Dharwad. Vishwanath Nakode, his sister, his father himself was a great musician. I was there when his father died, and we had paying respect to him, we had a musical session in Bengaluru. That's the way we pay respect to the departed soul, So there is one rag known as Mohanam in Carnatic music, which is Bhupali, I am very old to sing, but yet, particularly when we sing, we have to have an instrument to support our voice. Bhupali is based on very simple. Gapada sada pa gari sanga Travel also produces musical knowledge. This country is so culturally advanced that you can pick up knowledge that you want, either in literature, drama, music, whatever you want, poetry, nothing like moving around in our country. I would only say, take care of your food, take care of your accommodation, take care of your children's education, and don't think too much about saving. Spend the money on travel. That alone will bring you a lot of returns as you grow older. Travel is something which benefits people in many, many ways. Education, knowledge, love for humanity, knowing different culture. However much you read books, you will not get that knowledge. We don't have to think of traveling abroad. You go to Andhra Pradesh, you go to Karnataka or Tamil Nadu or Kerala. That alone is a great travel. But you think travel, not just saying, oh, I'm going to stay in the hotel, put my TV on and watch it. Walk along the streets, go around the beaches, go around the lakes, go and even to shanties, you go to slums. See people, that enhances your knowledge. There is no room for boredom in travel. The boredom will arise only when you start sitting in the hotel thinking, what type of shopping should I do? I mean, about me, right from a young age I was interested in doing something for those who are less fortunate. We are lucky. See, by birth, we are enjoying life. By birth, they are not enjoying the life. Education is most important. And as I went through tough time for my own education, I thought when I grow up, if I am in a position to help the community, I'll help them in the field of education. That's how I got involved in this. We are now working better approach to life. Like that, we're working on adolescent girls, stopping open defecation, constructing toilets in school, planting trees, removing garbage, and then setting up proper drainage systems and all that. And education, health, they all go together. I would say that this is the best part of my life, where we are working in all the rural villages. It's a great experience, a great knowledge. That's what I can say for the time being on Soul News. There is so much to say, but this is in brief, yeah.